Paddy the Baddy is terrible at fighting. He is absolutely god-awful at fighting. He will never beat anyone. He will never beat anyone in the top 15. He probably doesn't even beat most of the guys just outside the top 15. He is terrible at fighting, and I cannot believe it. He looks so bad against Jared Gordon. He looks so bad. He looks so terrible against Jared Gordon. I don't even know how he looked that bad. I thought that was a fight that he could probably win. Chances are that'd be his last win. Because if he's going to fight a ranked guy after Jared Gordon, I don't know who in the top 15 he could beat besides maybe a Tony Ferguson. That's about it. It's crazy. He's terrible. He's terrible on the feet. He is terrible. He's terrible. Borderline god-awful stand-up. Borderline god-awful. He's terrible. He will never be anything in the sport. He got 30-27 by Gordon, and that's not an opinion. That is a fact. He lost every round to Jared Gordon. There is no... Everyone was like, well, 29-20. No. He lost every round to Jared Gordon. Every single round. Every round. This isn't a debate. This isn't... Oh, but in my opinion, no. It is a fact. He lost every round to Jared Gordon. According to the criteria. If you rewatch the fight, you can see it. If you rewatch the fight, you can clearly see it. The Weasel's video, if you've seen that, he also breaks it down. He lost every single round against Jared Gordon. Who is he going to beat in the top 15? Dan Hooker destroys him. He destroys him. Arman Sarukian, Demiros Magulov, they destroy him. Rafael Fiziev, I don't even want to imagine what he'll do to Paddy. It's going to be a brutalization. Justin Gaethje destroys him. Michael Chandler destroys him. Dustin Poirier destroys him. Conor, Conor would do vicious things to Paddy. What? Terrence McKinney, Drew Dober, Bobby Green. Even Michael Johnson would beat Paddy, and I'm not even joking. Oh my God, Paddy, he looks so bad. He looks so bad. His stand-up was awful. He doesn't move his head, chin up in the air. He's always just getting caught clean. Jared can just throw a hook out there and it'll land because Paddy's head just doesn't leave the center line at all. He can throw a naked hook and it'll catch Paddy on the chin. Good chin on Paddy, but still, bro, like, he lost every round. It's just unbelievable, bro. I mean, none of us thought Paddy would go this far, but we would at least think, he could at least be capable of beating a guy like Jared Gordon. Nope. He can't. He's not even... His cap is... His ceiling is Jared Gordon. That is his ceiling. Which is crazy, because I thought we were just going to get one more good win from Paddy. One more submission. Nope. No. Jared Gordon is his ceiling. And Jared Gordon isn't even, like... He isn't even, like... Oh my God. Paddy's done. His next fight, unless he fights down and he fights like a really, like, maybe like a Claudio Puelles, he's terrible. That might be the level of opponent that Paddy can probably beat. Because anyone else, Paddy's going to get destroyed. If the UFC, if they really give him a ranked opponent next, it's like we are going to we are going to see Paddy Pimblett unconscious. It's going to happen. Paddy's so bad. Oh my God. And he wanted to spar Jake Paul, which is crazy. He really thought he could spar with Jake Paul and have it be competitive. And people bought it too. If you saw the comments, people would be like, yeah, Jake Paul don't want that smoke. It's going to be a tough one for Jake. Like, are you dumb? Even before he had this performance against Gordon, I still thought that was such a silly take to have. And now it's like people are on board with it. Like, oh yeah, Jake probably does smoke him in the first round. Yeah, no duh. You didn't even need to see the Gordon fight to know that. It's just common sense. But it's like, but he's the MMA guy and Jake Paul's the YouTuber. It's like, shut up, bro. Jake Paul would have smoked him with or without that Gordon performance. It's just so obvious. But everyone knows now. Jake Paul would have smoked him in sparring. If they ever fought, it would be a brutalization. And people thought that fight could potentially be competitive. That is so silly. That is so unbelievably silly, bro. That is so silly. Jake Paul would KO him in one round. Oh my God. Yeah. Keep him away from the top 15. Keep him away from Jake Paul. He does not want the smoke with any of them. If anything, what Paddy needs to do, bro, he's so bad at fighting. Instead of fighting Jake Paul and wanting to spar him, he needs to call him up and invite him to this gym and spar with him. And he needs, rather than fighting him, he needs him in his camp so he can improve his boxing or his stand-up in general, because it is so bad. Okay, these guys in the top 15, you need to make friends with somebody. You need to make friends with some of them. Call up Jake Paul. Call up these guys from the top 15 and have them in your gym. Spar them. Have them give you pointers. Have them support you. Because you do not want to fight them. You need to have them in your corner. Oh my God. I can't believe it. He's so bad. He's terrible at fighting. And I can't believe it. I mean, we already knew this. We knew his stand-up was very suspect. But now it's just, his hype is dead in the water now. It's so dead. We all know Paddy lost. And he lost every round, which is even worse. Like, there is no argument. There's no argument at all. Oh, man. This is the end for Paddy. And Paddy's probably going to come back on the UK card in March. And that's, unless he fights down, fighting upwards will be a massive mistake. Unless he fights maybe like a Tony Ferguson. Even Tony, as old as he is, he might even give Paddy problems himself. But that's the only fight he could potentially win in the top 15, because everyone else, it's just no. If I'm Paddy, I'm taking a year off. And Paddy's a young guy. He's like 27. He's 27. So in a year, he'll be 28, probably almost 29. I don't know when his birthday is, but he's a young guy. He needs to take a year off and reinvent himself. He needs to reinvent himself, okay? Take a year off, or at least 8 to 10 months, bare minimum. But I'd still think a year off, because after that stand-up, you need to maximize your time away from the octagon. He needs to take a year off and just reinvent that stand-up. He needs to. He can't come back the way he is. He can't. He needs to reinvent himself. He needs to pull a Jake Matthews. He needs to pull a Jake Matthews and just come back and reinvent himself. Okay? He needs to do what Jake Paul did after he fought Tyron Woodley the second time and looked god-awful. Jake came back, essentially reinvented himself and looked the greatest he ever looked and beat Anderson Silva and outboxed him. He needs to take that year off and reinvent himself. Because he is terrible. He sucks. Yeah, he's never going to be anything in the sport, and that's just the reality of it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Will Paddy's ego be his downfall? Because it seems like he is. It's like, he was talking to Joe Rogan. He's talking to Joe Rogan. He's like, it wasn't even close. Or I can't do it. I can't do a Liverpool accent. Liverpool? No, I can't. I'm not even going to try. But yeah, he just said it wasn't even close, which is unbelievable. Like, wow. Like, bro, you got 30-27 and you say it wasn't even close. Like, stop it. Fight of the night? No fight of the night. No fight of the night. It was terrible. Yeah, he sucks at fighting. And that's what it is. It is what it is. Will Paddy's ego be his downfall? Or will he actually learn from the criticism and take a good chunk of time off to reinvent himself as a fighter? And not get fat. Because, god dang, bro. I feel like discipline is something he lacks a lot as well, which could be a reason why he's not improving at a rate that, most fighters do improve at. But just he's so undisciplined, and it's just, I feel like that plays a factor. Him getting so big, just eating, and, only really training around when he has a fight book that's like, you need to be training with or without a fight ahead. Because, no, it's just unbelievable. He needs to reinvent himself. He needs to stop eating so much. It all needs to end today, and it should have ended yesterday. But he needs to do something, and he needs to do it now. But that's just my opinion on it. Paddy will never be anything in the sport, most likely, unless he takes some serious changes, like taking a chunk of time off and, disciplining himself more, not eating as much. And even then, that's only a step in the right direction. Doing all that, in my opinion, is only a step in the right direction. He still has a lot more to do than that if he really wants to be able to even be competitive with any of the guys at the top, or even just outside the rankings. That's what he should do, but he's probably not going to do it. So the next few months, I expect to see the end of Paddy Pimblett. Brutally starched out cold. It is what it is. But what do you think about it? How do you see Paddy's future? I don't think it's very bright, but you never know. People have looked terrible and came back looking better than ever, so you never know. But that's my opinion on it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.